And we're back, and as promised, Congressman Michael Waltz is with us right now. A lot of things happening, a lot of good things happening, and some other things. Yep. We'll find out about them all, but fill us in, if you could. Also, Dave Leiden is here. He's our Director of Veterans Affairs for Flagler County and host of
Veterans on Point, 9:30 in the morning on Sundays.
That's it. So you're going to hear this on both Free for All and on Dave's program. If you could start off what we want to cover in the course of the interview, some really historic things happening. Let's talk about Private First Class Leo Chase and the new VA hospital. If you could fill us in on what's going on there, Congressman.
Yeah, sure. Well, Private Chase was the first casualty from St. Johns County in the war in Vietnam, and he is going to be honored, and his service is going to be honored by putting his name on the new Veterans Clinic that will open in St. John's by the end of this year. It's something that I made a priority as soon as I got into Congress. Congressman Rutherford, who represents Jacksonville and the other half of St. John's, has also made it a priority. And the good news is we just got the naming bill passed through the Congress, and it's heading to the President's desk.
Yes, sir, and that's been a long time coming. I know Randy Stapleford, who is your military and veteran assistant, has been briefing us here at the Flagler County Veterans Advisory Council. So this is going to be great for our veterans here in Flagler County.
Oh, no, that's right. And Randy, in my office, retired Navy captain, he's been a dog with a bone on this and has been really instrumental.
Yes, sir.
All right, well, that's great news for everybody in the region, because right now, Flagler County veterans go to where? Daytona?
Oh, they
right.
go. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, David. Sorry.
Yes, sir. They go both to Daytona and St. Augustine, but right now the St. Augustine clinic is in some temporary modular trailers, so it's not the most convenient location.
All right. Well, definitely historic. And for Private First Class Leo Chase, I think that really gives him a lot of attention for being a... Can you tell the story, Congressman, on Leo Chase and his service in Vietnam and what happened? Because he was killed in action.
Yeah, he was killed as part of the Ia Drang Valley battle in 1965. It was, to that point, the largest battle in Vietnam, where it was memorialized by the book and the movie, We Were Soldiers Once and Young. It was actually one of the most moving military history and books on combat that I've ever read. I'd recommend it to anyone. And Private Chase was part of an air mobile platoon that when they were, as soon as they were landed, were completely surrounded by Viet Cong and North Vietnamese regular Army soldiers, and heroically fought them off as long as they could, saving a number of his other comrades.
Another great American, Sergeant First Class Alwyn Cashe, you were before Congress asking for some special permission. Can you tell everybody about that?
Yeah, sure. So Sergeant Cashe died, unfortunately, in 2005 in the Iraq War. His vehicle was hit by an improvised explosive device. It was set ablaze, a Bradley fighting vehicle. Sergeant Cashe was thrown from it, covered in fuel, and ran back into the burning vehicle not once, twice, but 3 times, pulling out his men and giving his own life to save the lives of his men. He made it to the hospital, and as the doctors tell the story, even though his uniform was literally burned to his skin, he directed them to take care of his soldiers first. His family has been pushing for an upgrade. He was awarded the Silver Star, has been pushing for an upgrade for years now to the Medal of Honor. We now have that approved by the Pentagon. We had to there's a 5-year statute of limitations on the Medal of Honor. We just got that passed through the House. We're working to get it passed through the Senate. And I would love nothing more but to see the President present the Medal of Honor to the Cashe family. And his son has stepped up to serve in his footsteps in the Army as well.
Why is there a 5-year limit?
I'm not sure. That's in statute and has been for some time. I have to research the history of why that was put in place. But the bottom line is we're going to get it waived. We're going to get a waiver for Sergeant Cashe. It should have been awarded years ago, but we're going to get this done. And he's from down in the Central Florida area where he was originally from. And I'm working with Representative Stephanie Murphy and Dan Crenshaw from Texas on this.
Yes. You know, sir, this is, if there's ever somebody who deserves recognition with the Medal of Honor, it's certainly this this soldier.
No, absolutely. I mean, the story of what he did is just a legend in Army circles. And, you know, I just hit 24 years, still going in the National Guard as a colonel. In fact, we're going to get promoted tomorrow. So,
all right. Congratulations.
Continuing to serve. Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Congressman Waltz, I wanted to move on. Thank you, by the way, for what you do for the veterans in this area. I know Dave is a big fan of yours, and being
definitely
obviously a veteran and serving our country. Thanks to you and for looking out for your brothers and sisters in the military. It means a lot here in the area. Counterintelligence is also one of your expertise, and you serve on that committee. And all the talk now with this whole TikTok thing, we've had people ask, and I didn't have an answer for it. I thought, well, hey, you'd be the guy to find out about it. With parents, concerned about, well, my kid's using TikTok. What information could be on my kid's account that the Chinese could possibly use in dastardly ways against this country?
Yeah, so one of the things we have to understand is that Chinese Communist Party has a massive effort to lead the world and surpass the United States in artificial intelligence. And that could be used in military applications, economic, you name it, and even for their own surveillance. Over 100 million users in the United States are using this app that exports what their preferences are, what their likes are, where they go. You know, these apps that are free aren't really free. What they're selling is data on us. And for our children, these are our future military members. These are our future leaders, politicians, business leaders. And what we do not want is our adversary, and I believe the Chinese Communist Party is the greatest adversary this country will have ever faced. We don't want them basically surveilling a third of our population and the future generation to be able to use for all kinds of things going forward. That data is what feeds artificial intelligence, and the last thing we want. I mean, imagine if just supplant China and put the Soviet Union. And if years ago we had the Soviet Union understanding, following, knowing the location, preferences, and likes of a third of our population, I mean, no one would stand for it, and that's how we need to begin thinking about it.
So it could be used. It's interesting. I'm thinking here, and Dave, jump into it. But so you start. So the child or anybody could start following your child's life at an early age and follow as they progress in age and what their likes and dislikes and where they live but even knowing all that, how could that be used against us? It seems to me that everybody pretty well knows everything anyway without TikTok.
Well, there's a difference, though. There's a fundamental difference if it's an American company that wants to know all of that about you because they want to sell you something, right? They want to know what kind of soap you like, or they want to know, right, what your preferences of cars are, music. It's a fundamental difference in that than a foreign government that has hostile intent to the United States and the American people, that is demonstrating how they seek to govern not only their own country but the world. If you look at the concentration camps that the Uyghurs have been put in, the destruction of the Tibetan Buddhists, their absolute war on Christianity, just this past Easter, the Chinese Communist Party, reportedly by a number of human rights groups, bulldozed or shut down hundreds of churches. Hong Kong, South China Sea. I mean, I could go on and on again, or really listing how the Chinese Party doesn't share our values and seeks to dominate a new world order. This is in their words. not mine. Listen to the speeches from President Xi, where they want a new world order where they call the shots as they see it, not the United States or the free world. And the last thing we should do, I think, is have an open book again on the future generation and over 100 million Americans.
So, sir, would you say this administration is taking a proactive approach to national security and the personal information of our citizens, as opposed to in 2015 when the Office of Personnel Management had the data breach hack, and that administration didn't really hold the Chinese accountable? Basically,
did nothing. It's not just OPM, which manages our entire federal workforce. So that's military, State Department. We could go on down to all of the agencies. All of their data is gone. And we know that the Chinese intelligence services then use that data to approach perhaps someone who has access to classified information but has bankruptcy problems.
Right.
Or maybe has a mental health problem that they don't know. So they use that data in a coercive manner. But in terms of the administration, look, it's night and day. And Joe Biden has been clear over his 47-year career that in government that the rise of China is no big deal, nothing to worry about. We can peacefully coexist. And again, don't take it from me. Listen to the Chinese leadership. That's not their intent. They call it the China Dream, and where by the 100th anniversary of the Chinese Communist Party in 20 years, that they are the new dominant global power. And I don't want my grandchildren growing up in a world led by a Chinese authoritarian regime.
Sir, do you have a concern that a lot of our big tech companies have too much of a cozy relationship with China?
Well, I certainly have concern with some of the tech companies that are helping them with their artificial intelligence, that have agreed to move their servers and their cloud onto China so that the Communist Party can then mine it and use that technology not only to repress its own people, but to surpass us militarily and for military applications. So the Chinese have another program. It's called civil military relations, and that's where they gather things with seemingly innocuous technology that is seemingly innocuous and for civilian purposes, and then apply it and hand that over to their military. And that's why they're so aggressively going after basic research in our institutions and in academia, like nanotechnology, like advanced materials, things that would help their civilian airline engines be more efficient, will also help their military jet engines be more efficient. And we just need a real wake-up call across the United States on what's going on here.
And speaking of that, sir, do you think this new JEDI contract that was awarded to Microsoft, that's going to be a military-based cloud, is there any concern, because Microsoft's pretty intertwined with China?
Well, actually, Microsoft has pulled back, I think, in some really helpful ways. Google has not, and we are certainly making the case with them, but also, Facebook has pulled out as well because of a lot of what the regime is doing to its own people. And we need to call that out. I'm actually pushing a bill this week that really calls out Disney, which just filmed its new movie Milan,
right,
in the Western province where the Uyghurs are literally being put into concentration camps as we speak. So from a human rights standpoint, that to me is just unconscionable.
Wow. Okay. It's kind of mind-boggling, and the more you dig into it, and things that would probably really boggle our mind, you can't talk about.
Well, look, at the end of the day, the Chinese Communist Party wants to, and I make that distinction between their authoritarian government and a long and beautiful and amazing culture in the Chinese people. Two separate things. But they have very clearly stated they are going to dominate the United States through technology, and they are stealing their way to the top through cyber, through our universities, or actually through buying up distressed American companies, many of which are now bankrupt because of COVID, which came from, it was exacerbated by the Chinese Communist Party's cover-up. So it's complicated. I can't give you just some quick bullets on it, but it is a whole of government, whole of society effort on their part, to supplant the United States as a superpower.
Any final words of wisdom from Congressman Michael Waltz?
Well, look, we'll just continue to fight through these issues. I mean, what a heck of a year in 2020. I would just say going forward, posting on social media, yelling at your relatives over Thanksgiving, yelling at the TV, that's all interesting. But at the end of the day, get out and vote, right? Men and women have fought and died all over the world for the fundamentals that are our republic. And I think every citizen has a duty to educate themselves and to get out and vote and have a say in the future of our nation.
All right, very good. Thank you for your service, and we'll talk again soon, Michael.
Okay, talk to you soon.
All right, take care.
Thank you, sir.